Human trafficking is a modern version of slavery.
There are over 41 million slaves in the world today.
That's more than any other time in history.
Human trafficking is the fastest growing illegal enterprise in the world.
Slave owners make an estimated $150 billion in profit every year.
There were over 100,000 victims of human trafficking identified in the U.S. last year.
California is the #1 state for trafficking.
It's happening right here.
In Orange County.
In Santa Ana.
In our community.
Over 25% of human trafficking are children under the age of 18.
Some of us know people that this is happening to.
I am not okay with this.
We are not okay with this.
No estamos bien con esto.
We want to be the ones to notice it and stop it in time.
To give hope to teens
To keep our friends safe.
that are vulnerable and hurting.
We want Valley High to become an anti-human trafficking school.
Hi, my name is Beth Gegner, and I'm the founder and director of the Freedom Ride Project, a charity with the mission to raise awareness about human trafficking and move people to action in their own community. We launched in 2016 with a bike ride that went from Bend, Oregon to Newport Beach, spreading the word about human trafficking, collaborating with the police, and getting a lot of media attention so that communities learn more about trafficking and the fact that it's happening in their own backyard. In 2018, we launched the Freedom Ambassador Program, a program with the mission to empower youth to recognize human trafficking and to raise awareness in their own communities through high-impact projects that they create themselves. The Freedom Ambassador Program is made possible through a partnership with Vanguard University's Global Center for Women and Justice and their Live to Free student-led anti-human trafficking club.
I believe that youth-led peer-to-peer prevention is the best way to reach kids so they're more resilient to being trafficked. It's really impressive to see these young people stepping up, not just because they're passionate, but because they're ready to do something.
We get to contribute and to help teach these young students about what human trafficking is.
Many people talk about like, oh, we should change this and we should change that, but this is actually something that we're going through with, and it is going to save a life in the end.
Vanguard provides a very robust research on the latest data on human trafficking, and the Live to Free students have designed and delivered the curriculum using a peer-to-peer approach so that youth are teaching youth, and there's an increased level of connection, trust, and relatedness. In addition to those organizations, we partnered with Project Kinship. Project Kinship has been instrumental because they're the ones that have the relationships with the schools and have brought us into Valley High School, which is where we started our first program.
The great capacity I think that they bring into the issue, as far as it's not just these are the statistics and that's it, but it's more so this is what we can do as a community to help each other out to end human trafficking. I've seen the impact that the program has done in them in the sense that they feel like they're leaders, and now they're able to see that in themselves. And I think this really brought it out because it wasn't easy. It wasn't just a club that they were part of, they were taking action, and I think that's probably been the biggest impact for them.
I'm hoping that through this partnership and this program that we could see folks who have encountered such difficult experiences as human beings, and it will bring a message out to other communities to say how can we come together to wrap arms around our brothers and sisters to help them. That also, it gives a voice to students, especially youth who are our next generation. It's always amazing to see youth come from entering the program where they're timid and shy to at the end of it, they feel so empowered. And I think it's a very powerful thing to watch students grow in that way.
Central to the Freedom Ambassador Program is the belief that youth can have a unique impact because of their relatedness to other youth and their proximity to where this crime is happening on our high school campuses. On the first day of class, we asked the students who in the classroom knows somebody who's been trafficked or is currently being trafficked. And out of a classroom of 20 kids, we had 5 hands go up and say, I know somebody who has been trafficked.
In my freshman year, I was in basketball. There was this new student. She was African American. She was mixed with everything, so she was beautiful with green eyes. So one day, she went walking to her house, and then she told me that this guy just told her to get in the car with the gun in her head, and he just told her, "You're gonna be working for me now. I'm your pimp." I didn't know how to react. I will tell her to stay away, but she's like, I can't, my family, they're having a lot of problems. And then And then with that, like, she didn't know like how to deal with it, and I didn't know how to deal. I was just a freshman. I didn't know like what to tell her.
Dr. Galicia, the principal at Valley High School, has actually been involved and has a heart for the topic of human trafficking. He's been part of helping to rescue 5 different students throughout his career.
Her story went where she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend lured her into the whole having sex with the boyfriend's friends, and eventually it led to more than the friends. So the girl is 16 years old, and she says, sure, let's go party. She goes to this thinking she was going to go party, not to know that she was actually being taken away and not returned back. And she was out there for, according to her, she was out there for 4 months. And during those 4 months, she was definitely drugged and beat and forced to have sex with multiple people, of course. Eventually, there was this guy that came frequently to visit her. He actually provided her an escape route where he apparently put her into his trunk at one point, going to the motel and taking her, and drops her off at the border, and the girl figured out a way to come back home. So she was definitely very emotionally, traumatized, if that's the case. And I still keep in touch with that girl, in the sense that there are men out there that care for her. That they don't just want her for sex, or they don't want to beat her, or they don't want to do anything to her. And I think that's what these girls need. It's not only her, but other girls. They need to know that there's definitely people out there that care for them. That there's definitely people that love them and that want the best for them. And when they don't have that at home, they recruit to something else. And the minute that they recruit to something else, then that's when they get taken advantage of.
Our students went through a 10-week educational program on human trafficking led by the Vanguard University Live to Free students. As they went through the course, we asked them, what is it that moves your heart about the topic of human trafficking? And what kind of passion do you have that you'd like to combine with where your heart is moved to come up with a project where you can make a difference in your own community?
Is what hope is there for people wishing to leave the sex industry or even just move forward after sexual abuse or exploitation? And the first thing I want to say is there is hope. I'm standing right here in front of you. There is hope.
In a classroom of 20 students, the students came up with 5 different projects, all unique to highly impact human trafficking in their own community. After coming up with the ideas for their projects, the students were asked to pitch their projects in front of a panel of judges comprised of business people. And upon successfully pitching their ideas, they were all granted funds to execute their projects.
A project like this for students, they definitely mean it. It comes from their heart. And something like this for them, I think it's just amazing.
I think the most moving part for me today was when one of the young men who was presenting the first project said, we have to protect women. There are mothers who gave birth to us, and we need to honor them.
In terms of what I learned most about these kids is that they are dealing with this type of thing on a daily basis. I think honestly, coming from a background that didn't have a lot of involvement in human trafficking, I didn't realize that kids were going to high school each day and dealing with something as severe as this.
My heart goes out to kids that have a passion to do something, maybe when they don't get support in their life all the time. I see that spark in their eye that they actually want to get behind a cause and put their energy into something, so that it's inspiring to me.
The knowledge that they've gained throughout determining what they wanted their project to be in the real struggle and the real issue that is, sex trafficking, and to see children at such a young age be able to see the impact and even see kids that they know and are influenced by to go through this and want to step up and make a difference is huge.
I'm ready to support these kids in any way possible. I love the fact that they are trying to do something important and powerful in the fight against human trafficking, and I can't think of a better place I'd rather be today.
we assigned adult mentors to each of the teams in order to execute their projects.
I'm very excited because I actually learned myself that it's a very big problem here in Orange County. So I'm extremely excited that these boys volunteered to sign up for this project and took the leadership roles to bring awareness to our community.
Basically, we wanted something that was impactful in the community, that was a positive message, that was colorful, but at the same time was helpful and informative.
Is it just going to be one-sided, or is it going to be the other side too, so it can be equal, or is it just going to be like...
For this project, we're going to start off with just that one side of the auditorium. Just the visual itself, we wanted to be able to make people kind of connect with it. The falcon, the way it kind of wraps its wings around, it's kind of like the protector to help the kids kind of stay on that path. So I think this is, you know, an in-your-face, like let's take care of this, let's make this important.
The Mirror Empowerment Project is aimed at kids that are at risk, especially kids that have low self-esteem, particularly in the foster care system.
My mom, I showed her the mirror and I told her what the meaning was because she kind of thought it was like a basic idea as I thought it too. And then she's like, wow, that's very powerful.
Just imagine one mirror in the hand of someone that their life could change from that. And that dream that they had will grow even bigger as word spreads about it.
A project called Hope Alive, which is an anti-human trafficking campaign by two girls where they've made banners and they've made buttons and they're making pennants that are being distributed not only in the school but outside the school.
So like a kid could take action and be like, I want to be part of the movement. So like it would just be the pin, and then it would be BT1.
What inspires me and impacts me most about the program is just being able to grow the next generation of leaders in this issue, because it's shown them what they're capable of when they're encouraged and when they're given the ability and the space to be creative about an issue that can be really hard to take on and really hard to deal with and acknowledge, especially when you know somebody who's going through it or has gone through it.
The Synergy team is a team focused on social media and raising awareness about human trafficking.
Seeing these kids so passionate about fighting human trafficking and creating the programs, I'm just so proud of them.
The girls I've been working with created this film about the way that a girl is lured into exploitation by a boy that pretends to be her boyfriend.
You look gorgeous.
Babe, stop. It's because of the party. Remember you told me to look sexy?
I remember.
The message the girls wanted to share was that this could happen to anyone. It happens to high schoolers that they know, and they want to warn other girls to be aware and to avoid it. So my hope and their hope is that it creates an opportunity for conversation and it prevents other girls from being commercially sexually exploited.
As someone who has a lot of experience working in vice and human trafficking, I know that having these students step up and be leaders on campus and be proactive about identifying these issues among their peers, among students that may be in risk, is just incredible. Because we know that many times students don't want to talk to an adult. So knowing that they have all these leaders of the future here to talk to is really impressive, and I'm so appreciative of these kids and all they've done.
Finally, we celebrated the Freedom Ambassadors, their mentors and their coaches, and everyone that made this project possible at the Ensure Justice Conference at Vanguard University's Global Center for Women and Justice. The students were each awarded bicycles and participated in a bike parade, were cheered on by everyone in the conference. Our vision is to spread this program around the country. We purposely designed it so it's very easy to replicate. The curriculum is downloadable off the internet. We have a train-the-trainer approach for other universities and their students who may want to take on training high schoolers. And we have tracked and documented the process for selecting mentors, supporting mentors as they coach students to develop and to implement their projects. Our vision is that this program would be spread across the country, and it can be implemented in any community where you have a high school with students that are at risk, and within proximity you have a university with students that would like to teach this curriculum. If you are someone who wants to keep your community safe, who wants to be able to say, my high school is an anti-human trafficking high school, my community is anti-human trafficking, and we're going to stand against this crime so that our community and our children are safe. There are many ways you can get involved. You can start a program, a Freedom Ambassador program, in your school. If you're a university and you want to have an impact, your students can be trained to deliver this curriculum in a high school near your college. If you're someone who cares about this and wants to contribute financially, we welcome your contribution. If you're an organization and you want to get your company behind a cause that really matters, we have opportunities for companies to get involved through sponsorship as well as through volunteering. And finally, if you're someone who's a normal citizen that wants to do something, you can become involved as a volunteer remotely or where we're having a program. We invite you to join the fight and be part of our team and the Freedom Ambassador program to keep your community safe and make a difference, a long-term impact on your community. Thank you.